Well, look at this. Welcome to Riverfront Territory. We are new podcast. I am Trent Rosecrans. I'm a senior writer at The Athletic, covering the Reds in Major League Baseball. And then with me, joining me, as always, as always, since this is the first episode. So he's gotten 100. We've got 100% participation so far here in episode one, Mr. Danny Graves. Do I need to do an introduction for Danny Graves? Maybe.
No.
Yes. Let's see. All Reds Hall of Famer, member of the Reds Hall of Fame, which you see right there. Danny, is trying to be humble, but then he has a Hall of Fame plaque of his picture of himself behind him. And the Reds all-time leader in saves. Current commentator of baseball all over the place, including ACC baseball. Where else are you, Danny? You work harder now than you did when you were a player.
That is true, but I only worked for a few months. As a player, it was a lot of months. As in this job, I do work hard. I'm all over the place, but it's just for a few months out of the year, so it's great.
Okay, cool. Well, this is Red Leg Territory. This is a new podcast. We will be doing, in the off season twice a week, and then in the regular season 3 times a week. And it starts today. We'll be here. We're hopefully doing Tuesdays and Fridays that this will come to you. So yeah, it should be pretty exciting, and I'm super glad to do it with Danny, because Danny is a guy that I've known since, I came to Cincinnati in 2004, and he was then the Reds closer. And, I think I said this to somebody else too, not too recently. Like, you'll see guys in the media now, like former players who were just jerks to the media. And now they're like part of us. And it's like, come on, man, that's not earned. But then there are guys who earned it. Danny is one of those guys, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like, Danny, you've always been Danny. Like, there are a lot of guys who are different when those lights come on and they're in front of the cameras. And we are not going to name anybody, because that's how, that's not what we're here for.
Well, that'd take too long anyways.
It would take a really long time. But like, Danny, you've always been so upfront and real. Like, I remember when you were struggling, you didn't hide that. And I think that's really, it is hard to do in that position. But it's something you always did do.
Yes. And here's the thing, like, obviously my parents did a great job, I felt like, raising me. And as you mentioned, I'm still working on my humility with this thing behind me. But other than that, like, yeah, we had a job to do on the field, but you guys had a job to do when we were coming off the field. And if I can talk to you when things are going great, why can't I talk to you when things aren't going so great? Because you guys still have a job to do, just as we had a job to do. And I always felt like the media was there to make me look the best that I could, even on the bad days. Even on the bad days when you guys would come and talk to me, you guys weren't trying to hammer me. You weren't trying to, like, say, why did you suck today? You just wanted to know so you could have something for your story. And then you see so many guys that just, and I get it. Trust me, the anger, the frustration when you don't do well, and you might be the reason for, the walk-off loss. You can't run and hide and just think that it's going to be okay. Well, they'll have something else to write about. No, you need to face the facts. You need to talk to these guys. You need to talk to the people who are trying to do their job to make your job easier. And, there's so many people that just don't feel that way. You can get angry, but at least sit there and talk to somebody.
And I think this is part of something that's like, when you talk about, you hear all the time, if this guy was a good teammate. And I think that's a big part of it, because if Danny Graves blows a save, that's going to be our story. And if Danny Graves is hiding, I then have to go to Jason LaRue or whoever and say, hey, why did Danny suck? And
right.
they were waiting. And like, the thing
Yeah.
that I don't think people understand is like after a game, we don't want to be in the clubhouse any more than you want us to be in the clubhouse because we have a deadline. We want to get going. So if like
Right.
a guy, like the best thing a guy can do is just be there. And I've been so lucky in my career since I've been here in Cincinnati that I've had guys like you. I could go David Weathers, Todd Coffey,
Mhm.
shoot, this last year, Emilio Pagan, so many of these guys, and I'm saying relievers just because you were, but like,
Mhm.
those veteran relievers, they will be there. I never had to search for Emilio Pagan.
Yeah.
Um, and like the really good ones, like it might be easier to find them when they lose and when they did poorly
Yeah.
than afterwards.
Well,
So,
listen, if I sucked, I want to tell somebody why I sucked. I don't want to just sit there
right,
and hold on to it. You know,
right.
I and I'm. It's not because I want to make excuses, but I want to tell people, well, this is what happened. This is why I was not good tonight. But other people don't want to say that. They just want to hide and just I guess not be accountable for their actions.
And it goes both ways too, right? Like for me, I have to like I'm not saying Danny Graves sucks or Danny Graves did this because he's just like morally worse than the other guy who hit the home run off of him. No, like it's because it's baseball. It's hard. And
Yeah.
I saw, oh my god. We'll go on this. We'll go I saw someone, you saw poor Jeff Hoffman. Did you see this?
Yeah.
Jeff Hoffman, a former Red,
Hmm.
another one of those like just a quality guy that I've dealt with as far as our interactions.
Right.
But just he was always there, always accountable, whatever. And he said afterwards, the other day, it's like I cost everyone in here a World Series ring. It feels pretty, and then a word that we won't use. And like that's a very like reasonable, understandable thing.
Yeah.
And of course he feels that way, but like it's not like he did it because he didn't want to win,
Right.
you
Right.
know.
Right.
Um,
In reality, he gave up the home run, but the rest of the team had plenty of opportunities to score runs. The rest of the team had plenty of opportunities to keep guys from scoring runs. So, but that's him being accountable for his particular performance,
right.
and that's all you want.
Mm-hmm. So it's just one of those things, and I think it's but it takes it just kind of like that. The one thing about baseball I love is that we get time to know the people who we cover. We have
Yeah.
so much time. I would joke with Tucker Barnhart sometimes that I would talk to him more in a day than my wife during the season, and it was
Yeah.
true because like with the catchers, I love catchers, and I always go to catchers because like they know
Yeah.
everything.
I love catchers
They're
too.
yeah, you should. Good ones. But like the thing is like so I would do that, and that might explain why my wife is my ex-wife now. But so
Me too.
this profession is bad for relationships.
Hmm.
So yeah, but it's one of those things where I get to know guys, and then you then later on get a chance to know guys even more. Like when we went to Mexico and you and
Yeah.
I hung out a lot. It
Yeah.
was really fun, and we kind of talked about things without having to deal with anybody caring what happened to a game or anything. We were just two guys um, in a situation that we really were you know kind of bonding. So it was cool.
Yeah. Well, because in the clubhouse, you're not as vulnerable as you should be as a human being when you're with amongst friends. And in reality, we're friends with the media. Now I'm part of the media. Media should be friends with the players. But off the field, like you were talking about, I know you.
No,
I,
no,
I,
I can be
I think
friends
they
with
should.
retired players, but like I can be friendly and kind and understanding.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I mean. Like I don't think there should be any animosity. Like if you wrote something bad about me, I'm not going to hold that against you and say, "Oh my gosh, this guy does not like me." Um,
Well, and then for me, the thing is like, is what I wrote correct? If it's incorrect, I want more than you to
mhm,
correct it, because that
mhm.
is my job. And I don't always get it right, just like you don't always throw the right pitch.
Right.
But
Right.
we have to be open to hearing the sides. If I wasn't right and I wrote something that was incorrect, you know,
Yeah.
but like that's what it is. I'm going to write that, Barry Bonds hit a home run off Danny Graves, not like, oh man, Danny Graves sucks because he gave up a home run to Barry Bonds.
Yeah.
Um, I
Yeah.
mean, there would be a lot of people if that happened, but
Well, it's just about accountability. And at bottom line, whichever side of the fence that you're on with the player or media, both sides have to be accountable for what they do.
yeah. And just because you're on different sides doesn't mean you can't meet at a fence and
Right.
talk. And like I've
Absolutely.
been lucky in my career. For the most part, the Reds have had such great clubhouses, great leaders.
Yeah.
Yourself, like I go back to Weathers. I go, like this past year, Emilio Pagan and Nick Martinez are just A plus.
But
You know,
I've heard that like over and over and over again. I've never met either one of those guys, but that's the first thing anybody says about those two.
yeah. Well, that can actually kind of transition into it because both are free agents now. We've
Yeah.
started the off season. Once the World Series ends, free agency begins. There are 5 days where teams can or players can only negotiate with their teams
Hmm.
that they were with. So there's 5 days exclusivity for the Reds for five guys: Miguel Andujar, Zach Littell, Nick Martinez, Wade Miley, and Emilio Pagan. Um, it's interesting. I was kind of thinking about this, Danny. How do you've been in that situation when your free agency's coming up or anything like that? How nervous are you? I guess it depends on how you did the year before. If you're Emilio
Right.
Pagan and you're like second in the National League in saves, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah. Well, I think for me it was a little different because of the love that I had for Cincinnati and wanting to be there. And yes, I wanted to play on winning teams. I wanted to be have a chance to go to playoffs every single year, but I loved the organization. I loved the city and I loved being there. So I always wanted to get something done with Cincinnati. Even trade deadline coming. There
Mm,
was chances for me to go to other teams and close for other teams or set up for other teams that ended up going to the World Series and or even winning the World Series. But trade deadline, I always like I remember, please don't trade me. Please don't trade me. Like, it was just one of those things. I had that special bond there in Cincinnati. So for guys that are free agents now with the Reds, these aren't guys that grew up in the organization, right? So these are guys that uh, Nick was there for a couple years. Emilio, like these are guys that have been there for a short period of time. Do they love the city and the organization like I did? Do they want to stay? Will they take pay cuts? Will they take a shorter deal? Hometown discount, whatever it is, or do they want to go up and go somewhere else and see if the grass is greener? I always wanted to stay in Cincinnati, so that was the stressful part for me. Like, was I
yeah.
going to stay or was I going to go?
Well, and then of course, a lot of it's not up to you. you know,
Exactly,
like
exactly.
I mean, free agency is a little different because, as I like to say, free agents aren't free and they have agency. Um, and
Yeah.
so there's so many different variables when you're doing this. It's hard to, like, I never fault anybody for their free agency decisions or anything like that because you have a limited time as a player. Um,
Yeah.
and like once you stop playing, that money stops. You have to then find other ways, and
Hmm.
and yeah, it can be a lot of money, but it's not always easy.
Well, you can make as much money as you want as a player. We just mentioned earlier that it's hard to have relationships as a player. There's you like to spend that new money is good money, so you end up spending more than you need, and the next thing you know, however much you made throughout your career, when it's actually over, because you never think it's going to be over, but when it's actually over, it's like, now what I'm going to do? What can I do now to, bring in some income? And it's, yeah, that, and like you said, I'm not mad at anybody who takes a free agent deal and goes somewhere where more money is offered. Hey, take what you can
I
get.
would too. Yeah, I mean, I've done it, right? In my
Yeah,
career, and I think people forget about that too. It's like, am I going to be loyal to the Cincinnati Enquirer or whatever? Well, they have to be loyal to me too, and
exactly.
that's part of it. And so it is really interesting. But I know both of those guys really, the five free agents, two guys, Miguel Andujar and Zach Littell, were at the added to the trade deadline. Um,
Hmm.
both good players, did really well for the Reds. Really interesting, good trades. Wade Miley's probably going to retire. We had some elbow issues, all that.
Yeah,
And again, that's never fun, an end of a career. But
right.
Wade's a guy who I think is prepared for that and understands that and kind of got to feel it through everything he went to, and it's up to him whether he wants to keep going or not. And if he wants to, there's no doubt in my mind that somebody will be like, okay, cool, and give him a minor league deal and he can earn it. But at that age,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
especially coming off what he's come off of. It's you know,
Well,
I
the,
expect him to
th- the
retire.
yeah, it's tough. Like guys like Wade who have been around for so long and pitched for so long, you want to go out on your own terms. You don't want other things to tell you it's time to quit. But at the end of the day, if your body says it's time to quit, you have to listen to it. So hopefully, I mean, for his sake, if he wants to play, yeah, that minor league deal opportunity would come somewhere. Maybe back here with
Easy,
the Reds. Who knows?
easy.
But
Yeah, the Reds would love him.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
He's
the
just one of
guys.
those guys that is great.
It's great to have around.
Toughness,
Yeah,
yeah, and the
yeah,
knowledge. Like the thing
yep.
with Wade, I mean, and you know this, and you were like this too. But like, there's so many guys who just pitchers who know things, and like they'll be like, "Oh, I've played around with this grip, or whatever." And I
Yeah.
went to Wade one day, and I was like, because I helped coach a high school baseball team, and I was like, "Hey, I got this kid, and he needs to do something with a changeup, but his
Hmm.
hands aren't big enough to do this. What do you do?" And Wade was like, "Oh, this, and this." And I was like, "Oh,
Uh
can I videotape this?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." And so I sent to the kid this like videotape of Wade Miley saying, "Okay, well, this is what you could do." And it's just like,
Yeah.
it's amazing. He's like, I learn about baseball every time I talk to Wade, and I love those kind of guys.
Yeah. And he does it so nonchalantly too, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not this big production. It's like, hey, why don't you just grab it like this? I could totally see him telling you to do that.
So, all right. So those three guys are,
Yeah.
I can see Andujar coming back or them doing that, or, I
Can I
think,
admit something real quick? You mentioned
yeah.
Andujar. That was such a sneaky, quiet deal. Like I don't even remember when I realized I'm like, Miguel Andujar, when did they get this guy? And I had to go back and check. Like, when did they trade for him? That was so quiet.
It was in the last hour of before the deadline
Yeah.
that it came together. And I remember being like, I was texting with somebody who's like, "You guys doing anything else?" And they're like, "Yeah, we got one." I was like, "Oh, just kind of minor." Like, "No, we think it's going to be pretty good." And I mean, the thing with him was he was hurt. The legs kind of went out for a little bit, but man, when he came over, he was supposed to
Yeah.
come over to mash lefties, and he mashed lefties, righties,
It was impressive,
ambidextrous
man.
guys, anything.
Yeah.
But staying healthy is tough in a baseball season.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I just wanted to say that was sneaky.
I mean, and then the Littell move was really good because then you used Nick Martinez how you were able to use him, and so yeah, so those two guys, it's funny. Like we're gonna probably, I guess, we got a lot to talk about, so we're not gonna do as much as everything because we're 20 minutes in right now. But like those two guys are really interesting. I think both have said to me they would love to be back. They love the organization. They love the town. They love their teammates. Um, but
Are
again,
you
it's going to
referring
come down to money.
Nick and Emilio? You're
Yeah,
talking about?
both of
Oh,
them, both of them. Just
that's
like they are the guys who are just like, we loved it here. We loved everybody here. and I'll always remember when I think of Nick Martinez, I think of the end of last year, um, when he had to let's see. Oh yeah, it was like the last day of the Cubs series, or the first day of the Cubs series, the third to last game, and he throws a complete game. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm sitting there waiting to talk to him, and I talk to like Nick Lodolo and Andrew Abbott, and we're just shooting the shit. And and so we're just talking, and they're like, "Oh man, we just watch Nick every day. That's all we do is we watch him because he shows us how you prepare, how you go about today." And I mean, I'm sure there were guys like that for you that like, okay, this guy, and it doesn't always have to be like the greatest player, but it's just like someone that on the inside you see, oh my God, this guy knows what he's doing and he's getting the most out of what he does. I should do what he's doing and take
Yeah.
notes. Who was that for you?
Scott Sullivan. Like he wasn't a closer, but he could have. He could have closed.
Mm-hmm.
Those through sidearm and was like 85 to 90, if that. But his ball, like it was impossible to hit. I remember Jeff Bagwell he was talking to both of us, and he's like, I am afraid to death to face you. I hate facing you. And I'm thinking, gosh, I got better stuff than Sully does, and you're afraid to face him. I didn't say that, but that's of course what I'm thinking. But yeah, Sully, like he had that it factor when he was on the mound. Like stuff didn't matter. He was going to use whatever stuff he had that day, and he was going to get you out. He was going to make sure that he was going to get you out. And it was just and he was probably one of my best friends throughout my time in Cincinnati. We played a long time together. I cried, like physically cried when he got traded. Um, but he was the one that people didn't see how hard he worked, like
Mm-hmm.
when it wasn't game time. I mean, this guy did everything he had to do to be ready to pitch every single day. And of course, he pitched just about every single day. So yeah, he was that guy for me. And I think for Nick, for these young starting pitchers, even the relief pitchers, to watch what he does, I mean, that you can't teach that, dude. Like you see somebody right there in front of you working as hard as they're working and playing as long as he played. Why wouldn't you try to mimic that?
And the other thing with Nick is, and I've said this a lot, that every every player who's kind of that in between, right? Like, are you a fifth starter? Are you a long guy? Are you a whatever it
Mhm.
is? Every one of them says, "Oh, I'm just happy to be here. I'll do whatever I can to help the team."
Mhm.
Usually, that's just lip service. With Nick Martinez, he
Yeah.
meant it, and he showed it,
Yeah.
right? But the thing with Nick is, he said, "I would rather start." Would just say that, but I understand everything. And so that gives you the ability to go back to that Zach Littell trade. That
Mhm.
not only do you have a guy that is willing to do it, or says he's willing to do it, he will do it and has done it and done it well. The other
Mhm.
part is like, that probably cost Nick Martinez money. He's,
Right.
he made 21 million this year. So he did all right. But going into free agency, he's not going to get anything near that. And
Right.
because he wasn't a starter and he's kind of that in between, but oh man, it's just so valuable to have. I think I don't know. I'm trying to remember if I put him as my MVP, and because we did our votes, I think I had him as the MVP and Pagan as our pitcher of the year for my votes. Just because
Nice.
I think you do so many different things, like what
Mhm.
Martinez was able to do allowed so much of the flexibility and so much of what they were able to do, and it
Yeah.
is uncommon.
How how many other pitchers that make $21 million will say, "Okay, I'll go to the bullpen if you need me to."
And an impending free agent.
Right. Because most of them, regardless of age, will say, or their agents will convince them, no, you can't do that. That's going to crush you in free agency.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, Nick's that kind of guy that says, I don't care about that. Like, we got a chance to win right now. If I do this, then let's do it. And, yes, 21 million is a lot. He's still going to make a decent amount, but it crushed him for sure
Mm-hmm.
overall in free agency for starting pitchers.
So we'll see where he goes, and I think both him
Hopefully, he
and
doesn't go
Lindor.
anywhere.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but both of those guys, I think, are guys that you kind of look at, but it comes down to budget and all the sliding scales. So I
Yeah,
don't know that I can't see those 5 days that you have the exclusive, like that usually doesn't
no,
happen because you need to go see what the market is. The Reds may say, hey, we want to give you, I don't know, 2 years, 15 million. Well, if somebody else is out there with 225, you're not going to leave that on the table. And also, Nick's agent is not one to leave stuff on the table.
yeah, I can only imagine who that is.
Scott Boras, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at the end of the day,
But Scott Boras is going to do
Nick,
what's best for Nick, and so's Nick.
right, and like, I'm sure, I would imagine Boris told Nick, "This is going to hurt you in free agency if you go to the bullpen."
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully,
Yeah,
Nick says, I have him to give me advice, but at the end of the day, it's my decision.
right.
But yeah, these 5 days, I think it would be smart for Nick and Emilio and all the free agents to really just wait and see what's out there. Unless, uh, if Nick says, I want to stay here no matter what, I'm not going anywhere. Whatever they offer me, if they give me a 3-year deal, I'm staying. I don't care what the money is.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, yeah, you should test the market and see what it is. Doesn't mean you're going to hold out for a long time, but
Well,
I do think they need both these guys back. They really do.
it's a because the biggest thing is going to be rebuilding this bullpen, and that's not an easy task. And the
And
more
if you have
those,
somebody at the back end, yeah, if you have somebody at the back end already, it makes it a lot easier to build the rest of the bullpen, right?
mm-hmm.
And
And yeah, I mean, right now it's like, okay, there's Tony Santillan, who pitched in what 80 games this year. Could you imagine pitching in 80 games?
75 was the most.
That's a lot of pitching.
That's a lot. Yeah,
Of course,
these
you
days,
probably had more
80,
innings
yeah, I had 111, I think, 110 or 100 something. Yeah,
as a reliever. You had 100 innings. Wow.
yeah, that was in '99.
Yeah, that was last
Um,
century.
yeah, it was last century. Man, yep, last
Sorry.
century. No, that's okay. But pitching in 80 games in this day and age is probably unheard of, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
not many guys do that anymore.
I think Rogers, the one that wasn't with the Reds, was 81
81,
that
yep.
led. So exactly half. And Tony certainly wanted more. Those last couple
Yeah.
games.
80 games, 73 innings for Tony.
That's a load, man.
And a 2.44. That's
Right,
pretty
and
good.
effective.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, that's going to be a big thing. Geez, our time's flying by, and we're not going to do it, but just to kind of set this up, and we'll get into a lot more of this on Friday. But
Yeah.
these 5 days, and Friday this will be over, but like they can negotiate with those guys and start trading, and they've already actually made one trade today.
Really?
Sending, yeah, Ryan. Shoot, I Valade. Sorry. Oh man, I usually have to write these names and not have to worry about how they're said, but
Yeah. Welcome to my
believe it's
world.
Valade. Yeah. Was traded to the Rays for cash considerations. This was a guy that was probably going to be non-tendered anyway.
Yeah.
And so there's that. And that's freeing up roster space, because you do have to free up roster space if you bring anybody in. Also, Rule 5 protection, which is nitty gritty, and we'll get into those a little bit later. But those are kind of our next things, and our next dates are that options. Guys have to, you have Austin Hayes, a $12 million mutual option, and a $1 million buyout. I would expect that to be the buyout. Scott Barlow, a $6.5 million club option, $1 million buyout. Also expect that a buyout. Brent Suter, $3 million club option, $250,000 buyout. And I can see all of those being bought out, and the Reds declining their side, and then maybe some like
Try to bring him back.
So yeah, only Austin has the mutual. Suter and Barlow both have club options, and I can see them both like being like, "Hey, we're going to decline this, give you this kind of money now, and we'd love to have you back at a different price." And so I think that's very possible with both those guys.
Nice.
And then Hayes, that's going to be a little different because it's a mutual.
Right. So do you think he has opportunities elsewhere?
I could see him activating it, like much like Emilio Pagan did last year, because that's a bit of money. And Emilio was hurt most of 2024, and I know he was really not happy with his 2024, and then came back and really, at the time when he picked up the option, you're like, "Ooh, man, that's going to be a little bit more than we want," but he delivered, and you got more than you got your money's worth from him. So
right.
I can see Austin Hayes picking it up.
Yeah, I mean, because he played in 103 games, so I mean, he almost has to. You almost think that he would say, "Yes, I'll pick this up and try to get better next year." That's when the money will come.
So we shall see. I mean, I can see that. So that is our next little thing, and then
this is exciting.
This is a lot, and it's kind of confusing, and we'll try to walk you through it, and maybe do a better time next time. But this is our first one.
Yeah, we had to welcome everybody, and we had to this. That was the introduction.
Yeah,
we had to let them get to know us.
Yeah. So, and how we will banter, because we actually do this anyway. And that's what the beauty of it is doing this with Danny. It was just so fantastic. And so I'm super excited to do it, and I think we're going to have a heck of a good time.
Yes, we are, for sure. This would be great.
Well, so we will, if you liked this, or if you at least saw some potential in this, we'll be back on Friday, and we'll be back twice a week in the off season, and then 3 times a week during the season. So it should be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to it. Danny, thanks for being here, and thanks for doing this.
Hey, man, I want to talk to you as much as I can. So this is great. We just have to do it in front of a camera now.
Says that. That must mean your kid's getting a little bit older, and he's like less talking about dad.
Not cool. I'm not cool to them, right? Yeah. Not cool to the kids. So
anymore. Well, you're cool to me, Danny. So
thanks. That's why I like talking to you.
Perfect. All right, brother. Thanks for joining us here at Foul Territory, or Riverfront Territory, which is fun. I love your shirt.
Yeah,
using it today.
Yeah,
we're coming up with the names, and certain things are copyright written, and so we kind of went with Riverfront just because, the ballpark's still on the river, still on the riverfront. You probably have some great memories of that place.
Yes, love the riverfront.
And that stadium, which I actually never went to a game there, so I've never been there.
It's special, man. I don't know. A lot of people said it was crappy and terrible, but I loved that place.
So, yep. Alrighty. Well, thanks again, Danny, and thank you to anybody who listened and watched. And we'll be back later this week. Hopefully, you will too. And tell a friend, or rate and review. Oh man, they're gonna have to give me all the things that you're supposed to do. Podcast things. So we shall do it. Thanks, Danny, and thanks everybody else.